Hello friends. You are watching Cats Cities 39. This is a channel about cities as well as the people and cats who live in them. Today is August 15, 2025. Finally in our region, in our 39th region, which some still call the far, far away kingdom, hot weather has arrived around 30 degrees Celsius. Everyone who could rushed to the beaches of the Baltic coast. I too, after doing some business, am returning home to Setligorsk. But I want to say that I always come to Kaliningrad with great pleasure. Even if it's just a business trip. It doesn't take long to get from Kaliningrad to Setligorsk. About an hour by train or bus. Buses run quite frequently until late in the evening. I spent my entire childhood and youth in a huge city with a population of over 1 million, so I have something to compare it to. Kaliningrad really does differ favorably from other Russian cities in many ways. First of all, it is not huge with a population of less than 500,000. I consider this to be the optimal number of people for a large city. Even during rush hour, there are no huge crowds like in Moscow or St. Petersburg. Right now it's Friday, the end of the workday in the city center, but there still aren't very many people. Crowdedness is oppressive and creates tension. There is none of that in Kaliningrad. Even in the summer season, it's quite possible to sit down somewhere in a cafe and eat quietly or just drink coffee. The climate is undoubtedly one of our region's advantages. The Kaliningrad region is the westernmost region of Russia. There is practically no winter here. The average winter temperature is between -2 and +3 degrees Celsius. Snow falls for a week or two and melts almost immediately. Winter feels like October or early November in central Russia. In February, the weather is already spring-like, and summer is not hot and stifling like in southern Russia. The average temperature is around 20-22 degrees Celsius. There is not much precipitation, and the rains are not torrential, unlike in Sochi or Moscow, where tropical downpours can last for days. Kaliningrad is a very green city. It is also called the city of flowering chestnuts. In general, many southern plants thrive in our region. For example, magnolia feels quite at home here in open ground, even though it is a tropical plant. Japanese cherry trees also thrive here. Cherries, apricots, and walnuts ripen very well here. In general, many shrubs and trees were brought here from southern Russia, which grow well in coastal cities. Kaliningrad has a huge number of parks, green recreation areas, and areas near lakes. It is indeed very beautiful here, and you can always find a place in the shade. Kaliningrad is very similar to St. Petersburg in terms of gastronomy. There are a huge number of different cafes, snack bars, restaurants, bars, pastry shops, and bakeries for every taste and budget. Even a small kiosk where you can grab a quick bite to eat will have a table and chairs where you can sit down. Many of these establishments are unique. They have their own special assortment of cakes and pies. There are chain establishments such as King Saker, Cruzen Cafe, Pavasha Bedi Tabasco. And Kaliningrad is, of course, about history. At the same time, it is a history that is unique to Russia. If anyone is unaware, Kaliningrad is a city that only became ours in 1945 by decision of the Potsdam Conference of the Victorious Countries. But to be precise, this region, which was called East Prussia under the Germans, already belonged to us after the 7 Years' War in the 18th century. And even the inhabitants of the region swore allegiance to the Russian Tsarina Elizabeth, Peter's daughter. And if it weren't for her death, history might have turned out differently. Peter gave these lands to the Germans because he was a great admirer of the German Emperor Frederick. But since 1945, this is now Russian territory. The city of Kaliningrad should have been called Baltiisk, but Kalinin died unexpectedly, and the city was named in his honor. Even though Kalinin was not such a prominent political figure, and his personality was not connected with the city in any way. But what's done is done. History has no subjunctive mood. In general, the history of Kaliningrad is a very big topic. I plan to shoot stories about different areas and streets of our region's cities. And I will try to tell something interesting. Before that I just shot videos, but then I thought, I've read so much about the history of the region, it's worth telling because it's interesting. Friends, don't believe those who say that nothing German remains here. That's not true. It's true that in August 1944, the British Air Force heavily bombed the city, but mainly the very center of the city. And even then a lot remained. Some areas such as Emelianau were practically untouched by the war. Numerous churches, old fortification towers, administrative buildings, schools, hospitals, villas, and apartment buildings remained intact. However, after half a century of Soviet rule, many of these buildings were used intensively and fell into disrepair, decaying and crumbling. The policy was, we don't need German stuff. Let's tear it down and then build our own new Soviet stuff. Yes, they built a lot. But fortunately, not everything was demolished. And only now, literally in the last decade, have people begun to think about the German heritage and assign the status of cultural heritage sites to buildings. In Soviet times, they wanted to eradicate all of this, but they did not succeed. And a city is, first and foremost, its people. As someone who was not born here but has lived here for quite a long time, I can say that the residents of the Kaliningrad region are distinguished from residents of other regions. I work in trade and services and interact with a large number of people. Most people here are much more honest and decent than in some other regions, especially in big cities, where it is easy to get lost. Here, it is not very easy to deceive your own people. And these Kaliningraders are much more punctual. If they say 9:30, they arrive on time. They don't show up half an hour late or not at all. Yes, they say that Kaliningraders are dry, not as emotionally expressive as, for example, residents of southern Russia. This is true. There is a certain northern reserve here similar to that of Scandinavians. But at the same time, there is no rudeness. I have rarely seen conflicts in shops or on public transport. People with only one item will be allowed to go to the checkout without any fuss. Cars don't try to rush through pedestrian crossings at the last moment. Again, this is my subjective opinion. Here, as everywhere else, there is theft and drunken fights near bars late at night. But still, compared to St. Petersburg and Moscow, you feel much calmer and safer. By and large, the Kaliningrad region is a region of immigrants. People from all over Europe once came to America. And since 1945, people from different regions of Russia have been coming here and will continue to come. The Kaliningrad dialect is a mixture of many dialects: Ural, Siberian, South Russian, and Moscow. In the last 2 decades, many people have moved here from the Far East, Siberia, and the Urals. Strangely enough, residents of the Moscow region and St. Petersburg are also moving here because it is becoming very difficult to live in big cities. The recent epidemic has made this particularly clear. We have quite a few people who live in 2 countries. They left for Poland or Germany at some point, obtained citizenship, and now live here and there. There are many cars with German, Lithuanian, and Polish license plates. Some having earned their pensions there. Return to live here because the region has the same climate as Germany or Lithuania, and life is cheaper. Especially gas and electricity rates. There is also a program for the return of compatriots under which people mainly come here from the Baltic states and Kazakhstan. Some, when leaving abroad, buy an apartment in our region so that they have somewhere to return to if necessary. It should not be forgotten that the Kaliningrad region is a border region. But again, it has its own specific characteristics. The Kaliningrad region has no land borders with other Russian regions. Our only connection with mainland Russia is by sea. With the recent political events, when the customs requirements of our neighbors Lithuania and Poland have tightened, most of the goods come here by sea on ferries from Ust-Luga. In Svetlogorsk, I can see the lights of these ferries sailing across the sea even at night, bringing goods here. This is because we do not have our own household chemicals or many other goods. However, we are self-sufficient in dairy products and now also in bread. We even export some of our bread. The quality of local products deserves a separate mention. In my nearly half-century of life, I have visited different regions of Russia and lived in different European countries and beyond. And here's what I want to say about local products. Our region has very high-quality dairy products. Milk, cottage cheese, sour cream are the best I've ever tasted. The chicken is excellent. Believe me, I have tried it and compared it with products from other regions. The white bread is worse than in central Russia. But the black bread is simply incomparable. Many varieties of black bread are made according to German and Baltic recipes. And this is also our unique Kaliningrad product. Well, friends, our Friday walk is coming to an end. We have just passed the entrance to the North Station building. And now we are heading out onto Sovietsky Prospect to catch buses going to the region. Thank you very much to everyone who watched this video to the end. I would like to remind you that my channel has many videos dedicated to our 39th region, especially Svetlogorsk. Since February of this year, I have been actively filming Svetlogorsk because it is currently undergoing significant changes. I have filmed almost all of the streets, and many videos are already available on the channel. New ones will be posted as they are edited. I also plan to record more of these walks with commentary, sharing many interesting facts about our region. There are many topics I want to cover. As I said, our region is unique and has a rich history, which is inexhaustible. But I will do my best to share with you everything I have learned from my own experience or read. If there is interest in my videos in English, I will translate most of my videos into English. So if you like it, please like it. See you next time.